What does your internal monologue go like when you find yourself trying to attach to something by default?
Yeah, I try to keep an eye on my internal monologue. It doesn't always work, but in the computer programming sense, I try to run my brain in debugging mode as much as possible. And when I'm talking to someone, like I'm talking to you right now, or when I'm engaged in a group activity, it's almost impossible because your brain has too many things to handle. But if I'm by myself, like just this morning, I'm brushing my teeth and I start thinking forward to the podcast. And I started going through this little fantasy where I imagined you asking me a bunch of questions and I was fantasy answering them. And then I caught myself. I put my brain in debug mode and just watch every little instruction go by. And I said, why am I fantasy future planning? Why can't I just stand here and brush my teeth? Right. And it's just the awareness that my brain was running off in the future and planning some fantasy scenario out of ego that I was like, well, do I really care? If I embarrass myself on Shane's podcast, who cares? I'm going to die anyway. This is all going to go to zero and I won't remember anything. So this is pointless. So at that point, I shut down. I went back to brushing my teeth. And then I was noticing how great the toothbrush was and how good it felt. And then next moment, I'm off to thinking something else. And then I have to look at my brain again and say, do I really need to solve this problem right now? And the reality is that 95% of what my brain runs off and tries to do, I don't need to tackle at that exact moment. In fact, if it's like a muscle, then I'll be better off resting it, being at peace. And then when the particular problem arises, immerse myself in it. So what I would rather dedicate myself to is, for example, right now as we're talking, to be completely lost in the conversation and to be 100% focused on this as opposed to thinking about, oh, when I brush my teeth, did I do it the right way, or planning something else in my mind. So I think the ability to singularly focus is related to the ability to lose yourself and be present, happy, and actually ironically more effective.